Dev, what's up, man? So we got Ahsoka done. Next is gonna do Captain Rex. Hopefully I can get that whole thing done today. That would be ideal because I need to get it all done today. Oh, what was that? I just saw something pop up and I don't know what it was. Somebody tell me what that was. Art Snowy, what's up? Steph, what's going on? Anybody tell me what that was that just happened? You know, the other night we were on here and I was like drawing and somebody was like, "Are you doing any more sketches?" I was like, "Oh, I think I'm pretty much done for tonight, man." And he was like, "Oh, okay. Well, because I just did a pre-bid and they don't do a great job of notifying you when you get that stuff." Like they don't make it obvious. They don't have like a button you can push where you're like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem." Days, what's up, man? I don't know if somebody bought something or what. So, whatever. If you bought something, let me know. So yeah, we're gonna do Commander Rex here. I don't really have to worry about his actual head shape other than to have a position for it to hold place until I get his helmet on there. So these are things that, like if you're learning how to draw and you're struggling with perspective and stuff, A good one to learn is the forearm from straight on. Is this kind of a shape? Almost like a heart that got squished. So this would be like the top of the forearm. The wrist would be here. The inside of the forearm, etc. And then whenever you're doing perspective, depending on how dramatic you want that perspective to be, you would just change like how big the fist is or how small the forearm is, and then the next one behind it, and behind that, etc. Just a little quick tutorial. So we'll end up having his guns up here. And you can't, again, it's always important to draw those shapes, whether you're gonna see them or not, so you can see how they actually lay into or interact with the actual rest of the shape, so you can tell that the anatomy and all of that stuff works. So even though these shoulders are gonna get more or less covered, I'm still going to draw them because I want to know that the remaining shapes that I put in there are going to line up correctly. It doesn't look weird. And see, I want these to be somewhat fairly symmetrical. That one was a little closer to his head than this one. I'm going to push that over just a bit. And these simple shapes are just placeholders until I get the actual guns in there. And Commander Rex has some very specific guns. So I'll be looking at references, which is not a problem. It's not a bad thing to look at references, people. But if you'll notice, I'm like, depending on the angle that you would do here, would determine or affect where you place this forearm. If you notice, I'm lowering the forearm just a little bit. I don't want it to be too high up, because I don't think that's realistic. And then it also gives you a little bit of room to play with as far as, you know, I can show the lower half of the hand. I'm not hiding everything behind this fist. You want to be able to give some shape to this stuff. And his head's probably a little bigger than I'm going to want it to be. JW, when you were running that incredible Deadpool? JW, when you were running that incredible Deadpool? What do you mean by JW? If you don't mind helping. Oh, yeah? What about it? Just wondering? Oh, I can run that right now. Is that the... Let's see. Oh, the print bundle with the Deadpool, Wolverine, and then the Wolverine and Hulk. Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah, these are prints, man. There's no way I'm running those for 45 bucks, $15 each. It is gorgeous, man. No, I originally sold that one for, oh, it's been, let's see, 2021. I think this was like 300 or 400 bucks. So yeah, no. But I could do a black and gray, like a bloody Deadpool for like 75 if you wanted a smaller one, man. If you were cool with that. Couldn't do full color at that price though. Then I think I sold that one for 250, and this is digital, so it'll never have an original, or an original traditional, so to speak. Yeah, it would be awesome if I could sell originals at that price and not starve to death. Now there are a few in there in that auction. Most of them, I think the cheapest one I have is like Goku or Hellboy at like 75 or 95. If you're into those. I got you on the list. I collect pools from all my favorite artists, and I gotta say, I don't know how I haven't found you before. Man, I appreciate that, brother. This is an original. I think I have that marked at 75 or 95, and I think I have this one at 75 or 95, and that's an original. But yeah, man, other than that, I'd love to do a piece for you, bro. These are badass. People love these, the bloody ones. They've been moving. I started doing them last month in anticipation of a convention. I was trying to build up some inventory, and people kept buying them. Like, and I'm not complaining. Like, yeah, artists. I make art to sell art, so the fact that they were selling right off the bat was awesome, but it was also a little inconvenient because, like, guys, I'm trying to have something to sell for people. Just love your line and everything about Sal. Thank you, brother. Gage, I appreciate that a lot, man. Happy and stoked to always have a new supporter. So, welcome to the family, and look forward to doing something for you, bud. Or like Snowy, what's up, man? Welcome. I'm gonna do this first little chunk of work, basically off memory. I know he's got a shoulder pad, and I know he's got, doesn't he have like some, I guess that's all I got from my memory. We're doing Commander Rex from Clone Wars. And we just finished, so the commission was this Ahsoka Tano, and then a Commander Rex, and then the client's actually going to get these tattooed. So I'm trying to do a couple pieces that I think will pair well together. The client might be able to actually overlay them a little bit if he needs to, because he's got a big old calf, but depending on what the tattoo artist does, he'll be able to shrink and cut these down a little bit if he needs to. I like somebody appreciate it. Do I do? Oh yeah, absolutely, Cheesy Rat. Now with the 2 character commissions, it's just going to depend on I don't typically put those in the auction now list, strictly because Whatnot is big on getting stuff done on time, in a reasonable amount of time, and my commission list is fairly stacked most of the time. But I do try to take care of my Whatnotters before everybody else. But depending on what you're wanting, and how detailed you want color, you want black and gray, do you want, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, we would figure out a price. That's what he has. He's got this like. You got something in mind you're thinking about, Cheesy? I'm thinking to get a tattoo of my favorite characters together, and the only artist I know is you. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take being the only artist you know. Use that to my advantage. Do you know what you're wanting? Who are your two favorite characters? Ooh, Bakugo. Have you seen my Bakugo? Dude, my Bakugo is badass. Thanks, man. I love that piece. Yeah, I mean, just let me know when you're ready. All right, I need to. So, what am I seeing here? His waist is just a little long. I feel like not a ton, but just enough that it's bugging me. So we're gonna lift this up just a little bit, especially if he's somewhat hunched over, holding those guns out, right? Gage, thanks for the, what would you call that, referral, the forward. We can show. Ding, ding, ding. I love this Deadpool so much. I don't know how many people notice that the belt is doing the same thing as his face. This piece does not get enough love, man. Oz, what's up? Miss you, homie. That's awesome. You did help with the colors, that's right. Cheesy Rat, I do check out your YouTube videos and I practice. Hell yeah, dude. How much will it be? just to save some money. It would depend, Cheesy. So you're wanting to do, you said Bakugo and who else? Hold on, the Flash. That is such an interesting combination of characters. And do you want them interacting in some way? Is that what you're thinking? Thinking back to back, and in a way, the Flash created an explosion with his lightning. Full color or black and gray? If it's a tattoo, I wouldn't necessarily, like I usually recommend to go as big as you can go. But since it's a tattoo, I don't think you need to go bigger than a 9x12 because wherever you're getting your tattoo, it's probably unlikely that it's going to be bigger than that size to begin with. So a 9x12, black and gray, 2-character, back-to-back, Bakugo, Flash. We could probably do that for like $3, maybe $350, but I think I could do $3. It doesn't sound like you're trying to do too complex. And I would assume, or what I would certainly recommend, depending on where you're getting the tattoo, would be to stick with like a half body almost, or torso up, similar to what I'm doing here. I wouldn't necessarily tell you to try to do full body on a tattoo, unless you're like going super huge. Yeah, and I do half down. Yeah, that's probably never gonna happen, Oz. It's just a whole other craft, man. It's just a whole other thing, and I'd have to build up a whole different audience, and I'm sure I could make a good living at it. I'm sure I could get good at it fairly quick, but it's just no joke having to learn a whole different craft that requires like medical understandings and, you know, I don't know, maybe if I get sick of the art thing, maybe, or the comic thing. You want a Todd 2? But yeah, brother, I do half down and then half on completion, and my orders right now are 6 to 8 weeks out. So you'd only have to put down about $150 to start, and then you're basically in the clear for about another 6 to 8 weeks. And I'll just say it to be clear and honest, I don't know how long my pricing is going to stay like that. The busier I get, the higher my prices are going to go. And, you know, my goal is to eventually be in super high demand and to be able to pick and choose the projects I want. So, take that information how you choose. Today's price is not a guarantee of tomorrow's price. Oz, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing okay. Been in a little bit of a funk lately, but you know, as you know, as a longtime viewer, that happens with me on occasion. But we're gonna get a much-needed semi-vacation here in a couple. Well, starting next week, I've got a convention in Oklahoma, which is where my wife's family lives. And then we'll be there for 4 or 5 days, and then we're going down to Texas, and we're gonna go see my family for 4 or 5 days. So somewhat of a break. Make some money while we're there, and see some family, etc. Ooh, I have thought about going to Denver. Is that where you live? So here's what I'm trying to do right now. While I'm still kind of figuring out the convention circuit, I'm trying to sort out conventions and places where I have somebody there that I know that I can stay with. Because it's expensive. And if I don't have to pay for hotels and stuff, that's even better. So if you have room for Ashton and I, it makes it way more possible. And you can say no, by the way. You can be like, I mean, I know you from online, but I'm not letting you in my house around my children. We're not that close, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for Colorado. Do you know of any Colorado events or Denver events? You know, that's where I was born. Did I ever tell you that? Ugh. Fan Expo. Sorry, we'll never ever do a Fan Expo event again. Those things are notoriously bad for the artists. Yeah, born in Colorado. Lived there till I was about 5 or so. My dad's family is from there. There's a few of them that still live there. I can maybe stay with one of them now that I'm thinking about it. Heck yeah, keep me posted. And man, it is hard to get into them sometimes too, dude. Like, I'm a fairly successful local guy here in Portland, and they didn't let me into Rose City this year. It's my second year applying. I'm on the waiting list, so I might still get in, but it is super frustrating to be like, what else do I have to do? qualified for this place, man. Yeah, my cousin lives out there. We're not super close. He might make an exception for this. I don't know. He and I really haven't talked in maybe a decade. To this day, I still like that chopper you did in brown pen. Dude, yes. Good, man. Good for you, Art Like Snowy. So, Art Like Snowy has been following me over here. He's on YouTube, but we met through TikTok and has been a follower for a long time. Early days. And learning artists, growing artists, as we all are. And says, I feel like I've really improved in my anatomy, easier to draw body parts from memory. Angles and foreshortening. Yep, it'll come in like everything else. Just keep practicing the, don't go the easy route and only do the stuff you know. You gotta kind of push past those comfort zones and do what you gotta do. At some point it'll start to click for you, bro. Send me some updates of some of your stuff on IG. I would love to see how your progress is coming. Now you want to get on a higher level than me, bro. All right, Todd, good to talk to you. Hopefully I can catch you later. Have a wonderful day. Oz, I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you. Familiar, friendly faces are much needed these days, so thank you. Thank you for being one of the real ones. Too many. Blasters actually are, the blaster's a little lower. This is kind of up. Jay Salsa, what's up, man? Yeah. It worked out well, man. We're gonna, you know, keep doing things. Always trying to find ways to make money and people happy. So if I'm able to do both, that's a win. Have you got yours in? I hope. If it's not, it should be there any day now. Heck yeah, dude. How you like it in person? And you got something else, right? You got something other than than just the Spider-Man print. I feel like you got a small original something. Yeah, okay. That happens too. I mean, I'm sorry, I just sell so much stuff, sometimes it's hard to remember everything. Don't listen to me. a lot nicer in person. The paper stock is great. You went all out on them, and it's worth more than the price you're charging. Dude, man, thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I definitely appreciate that. You know, sometimes I get a lot of flack for being expensive, but I really try hard to do really high quality stuff, because I think, number one, that's what I would want, and because I'm trying to stand out from the average, from the average, artist out there. I want to do things that most people don't. And if it means I make just a little bit less for a while until my rep gets good enough, then so be it. And at some point in the future, all that'll change, and I'm always going to try and have something that the average person can get. But thank you. That's it. Oh, now I got to draw the other eye, so to speak. Result shirt art, the Venom, match the Venom and Carnage I got, dude. So Bug-Eyed is the client that commissioned the original Spider-Man and Villains piece, and he got this really cool shirt the other day that it's basically a print of Venom and Carnage, and it looks awesome next to the art. Are you showing your portfolio to the major companies at cons? I'm not. At least I haven't yet. I haven't really seen. So here's what I'll say. I'm confident that the majors are eventually going to get wind of me. I don't know when, but it will happen. I only started doing cons last year, and I've done basically five relatively small conventions, and looking forward to doing more and continuing to expand and stuff. So we'll see when it happens, but I just have a feeling that it will happen at some point. So I'll be ready for them. I'm too busy working on my own comic right now, trying to finish that one up, which is basically, I didn't do the writing, but I'm doing all the art, all of it. So that is my current focus. Only I'm professional. Todd Beats _ join Todd Beats lol. Yeah, so I had to create a secondary account so I have this camera. This one that you guys watch through. That is my actual account. And at one point, Whatnot allowed you to view your account from multiple devices at the same time. And I don't know if they fixed it yet, but you can't. There was a point at which you couldn't do that anymore. They stopped, like, only one would show whatever was being viewed. So I had to create a secondary account so that I can watch the comments on my other phone that's over here on my left. So yeah, every live is gonna have 2 Todd beats in it. I'm not trying to boost the algorithm. I'm just trying to keep track of you guys. Lupin! He thought it was an imposter. I mean, I do suffer from imposter syndrome, so maybe it is in some way. Lupin, how's it going, bro? Been a minute, homie. Yeah, dreaded armor. Bro, I feel that, man. Work is right. Yay, America. I think that's looking pretty good. I think I need to tweak this hand just a bit. That's better. Little tweaks, eh? Little tweaks. Okay, I think we're ready to ink. Probably the only area I am going to How long did it take you to master anatomy? So that's a little bit of a trick question. It's going to be somewhat hard to answer, Snowy. The reason is I really wouldn't consider myself a master of it until fairly recently, and by master I mean uh, I can like okay, when I started drawing um, at 8, 9 years old, comics in particular at 8, 9 years old, I did it. Um, I could fake fake anatomy within a couple of years. And when I say fake it, I mean I could draw, the same shape on an arm, which, was like this kind of forward, just normal pose. And I could do a fist going forward or whatever. But I could not necessarily do the dynamics and the kind of stuff that I can do now, where I can twist the limbs and turn them and bring them forward and backward and upside down and all that stuff until more recently. So for the first 10 years or so of drawing, I could fake a good bit of anatomy. But like where I am now, and then I took, almost 20 years off from comics altogether. So I wasn't really drawing anything anatomy related in that way for a very, very long time. So I would not consider myself, I would say it probably took me realistically a decade, but I don't know that I would say that that's how long it has to take somebody. I learned how to draw comics a really long time ago when there were no tutorials. Finding a comic anatomy book was, virtually impossible, much less, it just wasn't something that was readily accessible like stuff like that is now, which is why I get frustrated when people message me and they're like, how do I learn anatomy? I'm like, dude, you have I used to watch bodybuilding competitions and record them so that I could learn anatomy. And have to pause these grown men and, being all flexed and stuff and just looking at other good anatomy artists like Jim Lee and Wills Portacio, to some degree Eric Larson. Todd McFarlane's anatomy was dynamic, but was not very accurate. So, yeah, man, I don't know. Took me a long time, but I don't think it has to take a person a long time if they're doing the study correctly. Some are going to do it faster, some are going to do it and take a little bit longer, but it takes a while, that's for sure. To really be able to do whatever you want stylistically with a form, it just depends on your willingness to go outside your comfort zone and your how much time you put in. I stayed in a comfort zone for a long time. A long, long time. Okay, let's do this thing, right? What were the things you always hated to draw practice? Anything with backgrounds, which still stands true today. I'm not a huge background fan. I'm not a huge like robot tech shape fan. I definitely like a more organic, fluid shape over super perfect squares and triangles and stuff. For those that didn't see, what were the things you always hated draw practice? I would get frustrated with, and this is one of the reasons why I preach it, I would not like any kind of dynamic pose and stuff was stuff I struggled with. So for the longest time, 90% of my drawings, I did a lot of character designs of the same basic standing forward pose. Just standing like, I'll show you exactly. I'll give my hands a second. This was 90% of my drawings for years and years. the longest time I didn't do ears. I'm just talking on my live. So yeah, this was some variation of this or something like this is what I drew. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And I mean, I went through different kind of stylistic versions of this, you know, where I would get a little more Rob Liefeldy, or a little more Eric Larson, or a little more, you know, whichever artist I was a fan of at the time. But this was it, you know what I mean? So, and like I would have pages and pages of just this arm, and pages of a leg, pages and pages of just a head, just drawn over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So, and then I could do like a fist. You know, somebody throwing a punch kind of a thing, sort of, but I never really could. I never really got great about like connecting that with anything. I could do a flexed arm from the inside. You know, I could do a flexed arm from the outside. I could, you know, stuff like that, man. So just did that forever, and kind of what stopped me outside of getting older and thinking that there was no way I was going to make a living in comics was I would struggle with anything like this. And so because I struggled, I wouldn't do it. I would want to just keep going back to this. And so I had, you know, I have dozens and dozens of original characters. And so I would do this pose, and then I would do like character creations, you know, character design stuff. I had a character named Sojourn that was pretty cool. I had some Rob Liefeld knockoff kinds of characters. I had you know, just stuff, man. But this is the part that I enjoyed for the longest when I was younger, because it allowed me to keep doing the same basic thing without getting out of my comfort zone and looking like I knew what I was doing. But it's like saying you know how to draw because, or it's like saying you know how to write a novel because you're good at writing your ABCs. You know, like you can mimic the look of writing. I'm in this phase right now. Yeah, and that's good, dude. There's nothing wrong with it. Like getting yourself to do this, but don't get stuck there, man. Like make sure you watch lots of tutorials and keep working on perspective and proportion and layering and, you know, doing boxes and cylinders. Like this is all the same thing as anatomy, and I didn't understand that back then, you know, like I just wanted to, and I think most young artists especially go through this. They're like, I don't want to learn these shapes. Like, who cares about the shapes? Like, I'm trying to draw some badass character, right? But you don't learn these shapes to because it's so important here. It's like you learn the shapes and you learn how to make these shapes change change angles and whatever, because when you're drawing something you need to draw and you can't figure out like what's off on it, you'll be able to go back and go, okay, well, the reason this is not looking good is because the structure is not right underneath all of this. You know, I can see where you know, like you can't have a face looking down if you're looking up. I mean, you can, but it's gonna look weird. Like if I try to take this guy's face and put it here and like this, like because my only way I can draw is like from the down angle on the face, but I want to do an up angle on the body, like it just doesn't look right, you know? So you've got to be able to go, oh, okay, well this is a structure, and in that structure is a neck, and that neck starts here, and you know, you got to be able to find the forms underneath the forms. Blah, blah, blah. Know what I mean? Okay. But like doing the repetitive same shape thing is good, because you will get to a place where it'll help your line work, and it'll help, like, you can definitely study anatomy doing things that way. But just make sure you're pushing outside that comfort zone every once in a while. You know, I was also obsessed with like everything being perfect. And so, like, I would nitpick other artists and, you know, be like, oh, well, Rob Liefeld would be a great example. He's not a good artist. Look how bad his anatomy is. But it's like, say what you want about Rob, dude had a style that was super exciting and dynamic at the time, especially. ID Walker, what's up? And more importantly, he could do pages and sell a story, and you know, his characters were super cool looking, whether they had great anatomy or not. Learning the ropes of whatnot, huh? Yeah, Youngblood was awesome. Again, especially at the time, I don't feel like his style has evolved very well. He seems to be one of those guys that kind of got stuck. I actually like his earlier stuff significantly more than his newer stuff. His newer stuff doesn't have the life that his old stuff did. You can still sell some comics, but yeah, and how can you be mad at the guy? Even if he was biting when he made Deadpool, like the character's still awesome. You know, Cable was awesome. X-Force was awesome back in the day. And his style doesn't really translate like it used to. Like, I don't know if you guys remember he had some new character come out a few years ago. And man, that design was not great. What can you do? Can't take away the fact that he's one of the best-selling artists of all time. He's like Floyd Mayweather, you know, he's one of those guys that people love to hate. But ID, yes, this is. It's gonna pair alongside this Ahsoka Tano. Thank you. Thank you. He's got a lot of lines here that we got to get done, but looking pretty good. Thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that because I was struggling with it, man. I was really not super happy with it. And it's mostly because I'm just hating on myself lately. But we artists go through it, you know, every once in a while. Y'all getting ruts for sure, man. Just gotta push through. Yeah, bro. Yeah, she's fun, dude. You know, she's one of those character designs that just, it's super fun to get into. It's always fun to me to see when characters that really had no intention of being like main characters get all kinds of shine. kind of like Boba Fett did back in the day, and some of these there's lots of Star Wars characters that seem to go through that. This is just a 9x12 Asajj Ventress. Yeah, 9x12, a little bit smaller, man. It's gonna be the person that commissioned it. It's gonna be a tattoo, so there really wasn't a need to go all crazy big on it. I'm not trying to add details that the tattoo artist isn't even gonna be able to put in. Finished my first show today and just showed off stuff. Need to figure out how I'm gonna do the live drawing. Yeah, it's a little bit of a task, man, but just gotta hop in there and do it, right? Hands are sweaty AF right now. Do me a favor, ID Walker, just send me a message, a direct message, so I can remember your handle and go take a look. Make sure I support when I'm able. burning up like hot. It's actually not too bad. I'm in Portland, Oregon. The weather doesn't really start getting hot until August, and then even then it doesn't last too incredibly long. Last couple summers have been super hot, but this one's been fairly mild. At least so far. I won't jinx it. Ugh. Yeah, see, I had to get out of Cali or Texas, Oklahoma. My family's in Oklahoma and Texas. I'll actually be in town for SoonerCon next weekend. Can't believe that's already here. So if you feel like driving up to Norman, Oklahoma, West Coast. Oh, he's back. I still have trouble making them into body parts and angles. Gotta get out of the comfort zone with art and in real life. Haha. Oh man, I'm almost leaving that phase, making everything perfect. Yeah, dude. I'm with you, man. Man, my hands will not stop sweating here. I do not know David Crow. At least not right off the top of my head. Who is he? Is he an artist or character or? Can't say stuff like that and then just leave me hanging, bro. Actor, writer. Pretty familiar with X-Men First Class. Was he one of the actors in that? Why'd you bring him up? Got me all confused, Joe. Oh. Well, that's cool. Always orders pizza from the place my nephew works at and leaves a 60 to 70 pound tip, huh? 70 euros, 20 to 70 euros. So you're in In Europe? Snowy? I feel like I knew that. Netherlands, that's right. Well, right on. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to stop for now. I'm going to take a break, let my hands cool off. We'll come back and finish these guns and some of these straight edge things that I'm going to need to have a little more patience for. But we're looking good. I think we will get this done today. Luckily he is, you know, a mostly white character. There's not a ton of colors and stuff that I'm gonna have to do on this one. So he won't be nearly as complex as Ahsoka was. But we'll make it look good, and we'll see you guys in a few hours. Thanks for the hangs.